Hi, in this video you will learn a few exploitative tricks from high-stakes cash games. The logic behind them can be applied in your games and make your game more profitable and creative. Today we have a special guest joining me, my friend and partner poker coach Vitalii, also known as Inferno K. He actively plays from an L600 to an L5K games and has over 10 years of coaching experience. Vitalii is eager to share his hands and the thought process behind them. Vitalii, welcome.
Hi, excited to join you today. Let's dive into the action and see what we can learn together.
We have a first hand played on an L2K against two strong high-stakes regulars with flat pocket fives on the button against the middle position and face two checks. Vitalii, what are your thoughts on this board?
According to the range research, most mid-stakes players tend to play multi-way pots in a fit-or-fold fashion. They try to avoid putting too much money into the pot when they need the board, and starting from the flop we must think about some possible exploits on the latter streets and remember to bluff some unobvious hands, so our betting range doesn't consist only from draws and it is not too strong. 5-5 with a backdoor flush draw looks like a good candidate to bluff on the flop and sometimes on the later streets, especially on the scary runouts when most draws hit and our villain will be likely to overfold against our perceived value heavy and, what is more important, on the bluffed range. I will continue my aggression on the turn and at most rivers, giving up only on the blank runouts. By the way, for my villain it is better to defend on the turn with his kings and queens without the suit and fold some of his top pairs instead because of the much higher implied odds when the king or the queen comes compared to the river days.
Okay, Vitalii bets 3/4 and John McLean continues, and river is a queen of diamonds. Vitalii?
This is a beautiful card for our perceived range, so now we can enjoy an extra fold equity because it is hard for our villain to expect enough bluffs in our range.
Fair enough. John checks, we bet 3/4 and he folds. Well played. In the next hand we have a multi-way pot again. This time the regular is on the early position and fish calls from the middle position. We call on a big blind and on 3-7-7 flop we decide to dongbet. Please let us know your thought process, Vitalii.
We have more 7x's than our opponents and by betting smallish we can fold out many stronger hands and backdoor draws that dominate us, especially because the regular is in a sandwich between me and the fish and he doesn't have a lot of space for maneuver.
We bet and get called by both players. Turn is an 8 and pot bet is here.
I've gotten my flush draw, so I have enough equity to continue and choose bet pot.
One player calls with the regular and fish folds. River comes an interesting card.
The idea here is similar to the first hand. Our perceived draws have closed and it is hard to put us on a bluff here, so we enjoy the overfold equity once again. Besides the folds we can expect from the overpairs, we also get the guaranteed fold equity from draws like ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack, queen, king-jack, queen-jack.
Yeah, that's a lot of guaranteed folds here. So you bet 3/4, actually like 85% I think, and regular folds.
By the way, he made a quick fold and showed his hand, pocket jacks.
Nice hand. Next hand, 8-9 suited on an L2K in the apps. We open up, got called by the big blind. On a flop we c-bet 1/4 and get check raised. We 3-bet and get 4-bet. That's an interesting action, Vitalii. Could you please tell us about your perception of the spot?
My villain is an aggressive regular who tends to over-check raise flops. If we log such strategy in Solver, we will find out that the exploit against this play is to start 3-betting flops for the thin value with hands like King 10 plus and adding more bluffs as well. 9-8 suited looks like a great choice because we have a decent backdoor equity, plus we can make the dominating backdoors fold. Hands like 7x, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, X of diamonds. After 4-bet, our hand has enough equity to call, so we call.
We get a pair on the turn and our villain checks.
There is no purpose in betting because we have the showdown value against his 5x, 6x plus. We want to avoid getting check showed and realize our equity, check back.
River comes a 4 straight card and he checks, we are left to act.
We still have enough of the showdown value, so check again.
We check and check we do. And we win against a 6. NL5K WPN, we open up 8-5 suited and call a 3-bet against the regular from the big blind. On the flop he checks and we check back.
On the flop, our first thought might be to always bet because we have a 6-high open-ender plus a backdoor flush draw. This is much. But it is important to make our play more balanced and put at least half of such combos into our check-back range. So firstly, we can always see turns and rivers with our hand if we take the passive line, unlike weaker bluffs like pocket pairs that always fold against the dual AC bet. And secondly, we want to have some bluffs on the river after we call turn delay.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also the range research tells us that the majority of regulars do not have such hands in their check and behind range often enough. Turn comes an 8 and the 3-better checks.
This card helps our range because we have all pocket 8s plus our strong top pairs like ace queen, ace jack that we checked behind. We want to use a larger polar size against our villains in underpairs, so we bet 3/4.
Yeah, and by the way, I think Solver slow plays a small percentage of his ace kings as well on the flop to have a stronger checking back in range. I don't personally like to do that. I don't think there is a lot of value in it against people. What are your thoughts about this hand?
Yes, I do not see so much value in checking behind ace king on the flop. I like to simplify my strategy and bet it all versus missed.
Vitalii bets 3/4, big blind calls. River is a blank, big blind checks obviously, and Vitalii goes all in.
On the blank river, the only size I use is an all-in with my ace jack or better, and 6-5 is pure bluff here, I mean like pure bet here. It is the bottom of our range, plus it doesn't block the underpairs that we want to fold, so I go all in.
And big blind folds. Well played. And the last hand that was played on Winamax NL 1K anonymous table. We open up and got 3-bet and we called. Vitalii, do you always call this hand against any opponent?
Not really. I would overfold this hand against two type of players. First, needs, whose 3-betting range is too strong, or second, aggressive players who c-bet close to any 2 cards on flop. My opponent is incognito. The only thing I know is that he is a regular, so I defend the GTO frequency pre-flop.
On the flop, we face a half-pot c-bet. Check call seems pretty standard, and turn is a 4 straight card. What are your thoughts?
We have the nut advantage on this card, which allows us to create a relatively high frequency don't bet. Our hand can be played both ways by checking or donking. I personally prefer to always don't bet because there is a nice opportunity for exploit by over bluffing most rivers. On the non-flush river we can over bluff all in and make a lot of extra EV if our villain does not call down enough. And it is very hard not to overfold because he must call many of his non-straight hands.
Interesting. So we lead 1/3 and he calls, and the river is queen.
Queen is a very good card to show. Besides the expected overfold equity, we also block some of his Jack 10 straights.
Alright, we shove, and he folds. Well played, once again. Guys, if you found this content valuable and would like to see more of it, please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you and good luck at the tables.
Bye!